Thank you for this introduction of myself. For me, it's astonishing what I hear there, but it seems all to be the truth. I want to say a few words for the closing of this first day of your session. And I have the impression that I come and fly in like a theorem or like an extraterrestrial. Thank you very much. And so don't be astonished. I have maybe some thoughts which may not fit into the scheme of what you have been discussing as far as I could follow. Migrants, immigrants. In France, at the end of the 16th century, there was the King Henri IV, Henry IV. Does anyone speak French of you? Aha. Le bon Henri IV, as they say, the French, ils peuvent, s'ils le désirent, mettre la poule au pot chaque dimanche. They can put their chicken in the pot to boil it every Sunday. That is what he wanted his citizens to be able to do. So he edited the Edict de Nantes of Nantes, which gave open rights to Protestants next to the Catholics. Later came Louis XIV, the famous one, who came with the Edict de Fontainebleau, which cancelled all that. And the Protestants in France, they were in a poor situation. And then there was a Grand Duke in Prussia. He said, come to my country. We will receive you. And thousands and 10,000, not millions in those times, came to Brandenburg, because he was the head of Brandenburg state, Brandenburg, Prussia. And plenty of them stayed in Berlin. You still today can meet many people who have French names, family names. And those are the Huguenots. And you have from those times, for instance, the French Dome Cathedral on the Gendarmenmarkt that originates from those times. And you have a Lycée Français, which is next to here in the Derfflinger Straße. Yeah, it is still. So this was an influence, and it was a completely new situation for those people in this part of Germany to receive people of another background. Now we live in globalization in a period where frontiers normally are open, traffic is possible by plane, by ship, or whatever, and information flows. Information about the situation in the other country. Like, for instance, the people, I take this one example in Africa, they hear splendid life in Europe, especially in Germany, let's go there. This is one of the reasons of migration, is the economic migration, as you know. The other one is the very sad one, which is the menace against your life, like war times. We must quote Syria and the area. So people try to save their lives and also to find a better living condition by leaving their country. We in Germany, we should be proud and glad to receive many people from other countries, skilled people, young people, because we in Germany, like in many other countries, are suffering small birth rates. I remember having been confronted a few days ago, Japan, for instance, around 1900, 1/3 of the population in Japan was people of less than 15 years of age. Now, you also know that Japan is the most overaged country in the world. People don't die anymore. It's not fashionable to die. But it's not fashionable either to give birth to new Japanese. My son lives in Japan, and they just gave birth to a little boy a few months ago. And it is similar here in Germany as well. We are in need of qualified labor. And so we should be grateful if people come and say, I want to integrate, I want to learn your language, I want to learn something about your habits and customs, and then I want to be a citizen of this country. And we can only be grateful if this happens. The one little question behind, of course, is under the topic of, brain drain. So those qualified persons, be it academics or be they qualified workers, they leave their countries and they're missed there. So where is one of the major solutions? It's not really to be host for them here and to have them here and take them away from their own countries. The most important thing is to improve situation in those countries so that everyone feels worthwhile living there and not in need to, to go to this Central Europe. Now, the emotional problems, it was quoted here, the New Year's Eve in Cologne, one sad and publicized incident indeed, but it is one incident. And there are some others, of course, we know, but I mean, this happens between Germans as well, and we do not need to say that this is typical for people from other countries, from other backgrounds, from other cultures. This would be false. What we have to learn in our country, having been a what we call Obrigkeitsstaat. Those who understand this term will know what I mean. It is the authoritarian state. The typical German in the times of the, let's say, last century into this century, I'm not especially, but I should mention of the Third Reich, of course, are obedient. The people were obedient. What the state says is right. I have to follow, I have to pay my taxes, and I have to be a good citizen. What we learn in this country, and I can speak of personal experience, is develop civil engagement, taking positions. Don't ask what the state can do for you, but ask what you can do to the state, to the community, to the population, to your neighbor. And there we are learning. We are learning in this country, and we are in need to learn. One or two examples concerned and related to what you are discussing here. Two examples which I find interesting. You know, I'm spotting around here, as you see. The museums on the Museum Island, depending on the Prussian foundation of the state's museums, as it's called, they give lectures for people that came from other countries that are migrants, immigrants, that live in provisional situations and that are given lectures in the museums to show them around not only Islamic art, which may be their own background, but also others, including the Deutsches Historisches Museum, where they can go for free and follow such lectures. So this is something which I believe is very interesting for those who are culturally interested, of course. The other thing which I find important and which plays an enormous role is under the label of civil engagement, personal responsibility, is the role of the churches. We must realize the churches in this, I speak of Berlin, but this is elsewhere the same, play an important role of putting up circles, meetings, coffee meetings, invitations into families, and this is again not what the state does, but what I can do. I said this. Yeah, I think I don't want to take too much of your time and want to finish with this here. And I am very impressed, I must say. I've met some of you people 2 weeks ago in another meeting where I was honored to speak a little bit about another topic. And I'm very glad to see you here again. Tomorrow I am not able to come because I have friends that come from not far away, but from abroad, and I have to show them around in the town. Thank you for listening to me.